talking about a Halloween party from 2 years ago where somebody at a private party wore blackface to mock Megyn Kelly. Should she have gone to the party in blackface? No, of course. No, definitely. She should not have. Disavowing that one. But like, we're now shaming this woman, ruining and letting these two people. This is what happens. You know what? This is white guilt run amok. Holy shit.
I'm gone.
Now you understand. Jesus, that changes everything. Blackface incident at Post. This is in the Washington Post. At Post cartoonist's 2018 Halloween party resurfaces amid protests. Every year, Tome Toles' Hollywood party draws an eclectic mix. Journalists and political types from Washington's power elite, but also artists. How awful does this party sound like, by the way? Jeez, Mike wasn't there. But also artists and musicians, everyone from retirees to college kids, jammed into small rooms and sprawled across the backyard, dancing and gossiping, checking out to see who has the most inventive and outrageous costumes. Now, by the way, how diverse do you think this party is?
White.
Well, there's definitely one.
That's true.
Black
That's
person.
true. Yes.
Yeah. One black person and one Puerto Rican person.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the 2018 party at the home of the Washington Post's editorial cartoonist, in addition to several Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who's our queen, by the way.
Slay queen.
Would you say she's our queen, Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Of course.
She's the queen of the Kirk Minihane Show. Someone dressed as the Mueller witch. I'm sorry, Dave. Dave called it the Mueller witch hunt, as he said to me.
Mueller. Mueller.
What do you mean?
I thought Cullinane called him Mueller.
Mueller. Sorry,
Yeah.
right. What did I say? Oh, I got backwards.
Yeah.
Jesus, sorry. See, Dave, I apologize. And Post columnist Dana Wilbank, ready for this? Came as just confirmed Brett Kavanaugh to the party. Oh, Dana, what are you? Dana, what are you doing?
Oh, you are very droll.
I bet there are some beers.
How did you even put that on? Oh. That's what I picture too. I picture these assholes. Everyone comes in with their car. Oh, did you really do this?
Oh, that is very brave.
A bunch of assholes. I mean,
A
seriously.
little gauche for my taste, but
Dana again?
I'd expect it from you.
That is so on brand, Dana. Oh, I remember when we came out, I said, I guarantee you Dana dresses as Kavanaugh. And she said, no way. And look at this. Look at this right here.
You know, I know it's really nothing to joke about, but sometimes it's nice to add a little levity.
I wonder if anyone came as like dead Seth Rich.
Now, ironically, people can actually pick a party where one of the women are at with somebody pretending to be Kavanaugh. Unlike other parties where people don't know where they were at with Kavanaugh. That's okay. But guess, I wasn't even done yet with Kavanaugh. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. That was just the appetizer. Would you like a little entree with this, Mike?
It's a little
I love it.
wackier.
Dana Milbank came as just confirmed Supreme Court Justice Brett M. Kavanaugh, complete with a beer dispensing device on his head.
Oh my goodness.
Remember, because he said he likes beer?
Yes.
He loves beer.
Oh, you've made
And
this
it's really a simple man's
You've
drink.
made this man look so simple. The Supreme Court Justice is so stupid, isn't he? But we're so smart. I guess
We're having a Halloween party, by the way.
Oh shit. Oh god. A guest named Lexi Gruber wore a scary Beetlejuice getup and called herself dead. A middle-aged white woman named Sue Schaefer wore a conservative business suit and a name tag that said, "Hello, my name is Megyn Kelly." Her face was almost entirely blackened with makeup. Kelly, then an NBC morning host, had just the week before caused a stir by defending the use of blackface by white people. When I was a kid, that was okay, as long as you were dressing up as like a character. All right.
Right.
And by the way, when we were kids, we thought blackface was okay. It's not now, but she's not. That statement is not actually wrong.
So when you were doing it as a kid, you didn't think like, oh, I'm going to offend a bunch of people? Like that wasn't the goal?
Well, I even think she's saying
To
like,
be racist?
I think she's not even saying her. I think she's saying when she was a kid, she saw them on TV.
Right.
Like she thought it was okay. Like, I don't know, when I was, right.
Oh, I
yeah.
agree. That's what I'm saying. Is the goal for kids doing it was not to be racist at that time.
But I'm not even saying kids doing it.
Right.
I'm saying when
okay.
if she's watching, I don't think like a lot of kids were doing it. I'm saying when she was like 12 and she was watching whatever, an All in the Family episode and Archie did it, like she didn't know it was.
Gotcha.
Whereas now as an adult, and maybe she wasn't that thought, but now as an adult, you know it's wrong.
Right.
It's like, yeah, when kids think differently as they get older, they get a fucking brain. Like she's, it's criticizing Megyn Kelly for having a thought of when she was 10 years old.
And I just think there's a difference between blackface, like fucking Al Jolson, and being a person of color for Halloween, so you're painting yourself black.
I would also say like,
it's just different.
yeah, it's stupid. Like, probably never good. It's like playing the Hitler card. Probably never good to do it now. Like, there's
Right.
really no win to it.
But it is. Your intention is obviously
But I'm
different.
thinking the Schaefer person probably hates Megyn Kelly and probably is a big liberal also. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So before handing over the party, Schaefer, a graphic designer and friend of Toles, of course was having the party, decided to dress up as Kelly in blackface to mock her, she said. Some of the approximately 100 guests at the home. Think about like what we're doing here. This is a double byline. 2 writers at the Washington Post.
3,000 words.
This is 12 printed pages. We're talking about a Halloween party from 2 years ago where somebody at a private party wore blackface to mock Megyn Kelly.
It's important to add to the dialogue.
She's mocking Megyn Kelly for thinking that blackface is okay.
Right.
So she knows blackface is bad. She's a good liberal. Everyone at the party are a bunch of elite liberals.
Right. So again, a few people walked up to Schaefer, who was then 54, and challenged her about her costume. Gruber's the one who dressed up like Beetlejuice, just to keep you updated.
So Gruber is the main antagonist in all of this.
Who was of Puerto Rican descent, and her friend Lyric Prince, who was African American, confronted Schaefer directly. You understand how offensive that could be to a person of color, Gruber said, according to 2 witnesses? I'm Megyn Kelly. It's funny, Schaefer replied. The witnesses said. They fucking talking to witnesses about this.
Witnesses.
Nearly 2 years later, the incident, which has bothered some people ever since. It's like John Henry.
Just walking around, I just can't shake.
I kept thinking of the
meal's not as
Chappelle.
good as it should be.
I just kept thinking of the Chappelle brittle spirit thing. It's like, they're all so brittle.
Oh, God.
Like 2 years, like you're telling me you woke up in a cold sweat the other night and you're like, oh, the Halloween party. Oh my God, Sue Schaefer's blackface.
This idiot wore blackface to a party.
Well, it's like when your parents died. You say you think about that on the anniversary sometimes, or someone goes through a tragedy. You think of that at the
Every Halloween.
Every October. It's like, hey, be gentle with this person. They're kind of going through something.
This was my birthday for me. It's my birthday every year now. I have to think about this.
I'm sorry, son. I just don't have it in me to go trick-or-treating tonight. I'm still haunted.
Gruber felt compelled to revive the 2018 incident. Last week, she emailed Toles, whom she has never met. This is the guy who hosted the party.
Yeah.
In 2018, I attended a Halloween party. Remember, keep in mind, this is in the Washington Post. Attended the Washington. This is Woodward.
This is journalism.
This is Woodward and Bernstein. This is the paper these people wrote for.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about here. In 2018, I attended a Halloween party at your home, she wrote. I understand that you are not responsible for the behavior of your guests, but at the party, a woman was in blackface. She harassed me and my friend, the only 2 women of color, and it was clear she made her costume with racist intent. Now, I'm not sure where she harassed her and her friend. I don't know that. But a 27-year-old management consultant, Gruber, told Toles that the incident had weighed heavily on my heart. It was important and egregious. She asked him to help her identify the woman. After the killing of George Floyd in the protests, I began reflecting more on this incident, Gruber said in an email seeking post-coverage of this incident. Now, of course, what the Washington Post should have done was said, you're a fucking
maniac. You're a crazy lady. Get the fuck away from us.
You're a lunatic. Okay.
Yeah, how did you not investigate this at the time?
That's what I mean, yes. Like, okay, this woman wore blackface apart. It's probably stupid. You should probably just deal with it. Maybe if you really want to confront her on your own, knock yourself out. But, I would say also, with George Floyd dying and stuff changing, like this is not the kind of stuff you really want to focus on.
It should be fucking insulting to use George Floyd as an example in this bullshit article.
It's make the story about me 101.
I want to know who this woman is, she wrote. What impact does she have in society? I think this is an important story. The party full of prominent people in Washington welcomed a person in blackface, danced and drank with her, and watched in silence as she harassed 2 young women of color. When did she harass them?
That's
it's just their
up for debate.
interpretation, I guess.
Okay.
The authors of the story are saying that this happened.
It's harassing to just even be around that,
I guess.
imagine.
It appears, though, I mean, if you get further into the story, it's actually the other way around.
I would say so. I've read this story like 10 times.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. Prince 36, a science writer, art critic and artist, which is a nice way of saying no job at all.
By the way, there's a correction at the bottom of the story.
Yeah, I saw
because
that.
They got her job title wrong.
Yeah, yes. Want Schaefer to explain publicly why she did what she did. Think of that sentence for a second. She wants this woman to explain publicly why she dressed up as Megyn Kelly in blackface at a party. First
Go in
all,
the town square and put a sign over your neck that says "I'm a racist."
it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, it'll help because once I learn that someone actually did this that I had no idea about, then I can learn she's sorry also. So it'll help me.
Looking back, some guests at the party say they wish they had confronted Schaefer more aggressively. Yeah, they what they should have done was go up and punch her right in the face, throw her through a window, and run over her with their car.
Grab her by the hair. Get the hell out of here.
Just crucify her.
Others say that she's already paid a price and that her embarrassment and regret were evident when she left the party in tears. Let me see. Anything else of the...
I mean, the woman went to years of therapy over this and was totally distraught about it. I mean, it clearly understood that she did something wrong. I think there's a part in there where they note that Gruber emailed the Washington Post itching for this story. I think we already went into that.
Yeah.
The only other thing is the story that I sent you where this Lexi Gruber woman, she went to Quinnipiac University, and 5 years ago, there's a story in Campus Reform that there was some campus organization was trying to do a fundraiser for an organization that helps foster children.
Right.
And they used maracas. It was called Casa for Queso. And she complained that this was cultural appropriation and actually got a fundraiser for foster children canceled.
Yep, gone.
Because the posters were offensive to her.
It's that everyone wants an experience now. I said it about Al Duncan. I'll say it about that fucking McMuffin cop. Everyone wants to be part of something and have this struggle that everyone can say, oh my, I can't believe you went through that. And it's just that a lot of people in our generation don't have that. That people have it somewhat well. If that's an experience to you, you've got it pretty good. If that's a hardship for you.
I mean, it's just fucking crazy. And for me, as always, it's more a story about the journalism
Exactly.
media. That
There are no good people
They
in
would
that
look at
story.
this and say, this is worth 3,000 words. And I will say, a rare moment where I think everyone united, even the left, and we're like, this story is fucking nuts. You are shaming this woman. Should she have gone to the party in blackface? No, of course. No, definitely. She should not have. Disavowing that one. But like, we're now shaming this woman, ruining and letting these two people, this is what happens. You know what? This is white guilt run amok. This is what happens when white people who run the newspaper, this could so easily have been in the Boston Globe.
Oh, yeah.
No question.
They said there were like 1,500 comments and maybe 1% thought it was a good
What
story.
were you gonna say?
or a
Great
reasonable
job.
Story.
Like good, solid journalism here. It's fucking crazy. That is a crazy story.
I mean, if someone emailed us and was like, 2 years ago, John Henry had a Halloween party and there was a woman there who did blackface.
We would report it. We would. That we would report.
We might have to throw the pictures out there.
Well, the only thing I would say here. So here's where the conversation for that is different. John Henry has said that having it called Yawkey Way has kept him up at night.
Right.
So if there's a picture of John Henry, like let's just say it's a picture
After he said that?
at his Halloween party, he's got his arm around somebody in blackface or in the same picture with him. That to me is, and he owns a baseball team and he talks about racial issues and calls their fans racist.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That to me is, you write that story. No?
Yeah, I think so.
This is just
I think
person.
as we said yesterday, there's a K. Marco-esque aspect to this story because
Yeah,
it's the Washington Post going after a Washington Post cartoonist, and presumably there's lots of Washington Post employees who are at this
Is
party.
going to that party punishment enough for this woman? I mean, Jesus Christ.
I mean, Dana, I'm sure.
What did Dana wear last
Seemed
year?
like the only fun one there.
What did Dana wear last year?
Dana's a bucket of laughs. There was that time when he said that if Trump was the Republican nominee, he would eat one of his columns.
Right.
And
That's
then he
right.
did.
That's right.
He did. He cut up a piece of newspaper.
I'm going to guess
ate
that
it.
Dana dressed as Trump in 2017 or 16. Just a guess.
Oh, that'd be wild.
And this year he'll be who? Like Fauci? No, who's he going to be? Like, what's the wacky coronavirus thing he's going to do?
Yeah, Fauci's a good one.
Yeah, one of those wacky,
Or he'll do Andrew Cuomo or something.
Right.
Derek Chauvin.
Yes, that's true. Yes, it's true.
Well, it's a little too soon.
Well, Dana, you don't know
Maybe next
Dana.
year.
You don't know Dana.
He does like to press the limits.
He's
Dana
wild.
is crazy. But yeah, Jesus God. Oh, what else, Steve? Let's do some actual stories.
Oh, I was